Today I'm going to try to give you more about the history and what made Toyota what Toyota is today. And there are some lessons learned, and I hope you can try to read what would apply to your company. So if you look on, and Paul Eckers talked about this Sakichi Toyota. He's my hero. He was a young man. I just finished, he was a son of a carpenter and farmer, and he decided he didn't want to be that. I'm one of those. I didn't want to be in farmers either. I wanted to go to school. He went to the Tokyo Industrial Show trying to figure out, what can I do to help my country to prosper? And he came back and he couldn't figure it out, but he saw his mom working at the loom, and he created the automatic loom company. That became so successful that he went from not knowing what to do to be named the father of the Industrial Revolution in Japan. Made lots of money, sold his patent to the Platt brothers in the UK, and financed the Toyota Motor Corporation. Great story. But the most important thing that he left behind is what you see in that screen. He left us a culture. He left us what the company was all about. And think about it, this was written probably early 1900s. And where Japan was going through a fair amount of disruptions because they just finished the Edo period, which is a shogun period. And they're getting into the emperors and the empire. So there was a lot of instability, but they had to think about what they're going to do. But always be faithful to your culture. Always be studious. Always be practical. Always strive to build a home-like atmosphere, and et cetera, et cetera. But there's another 3 key statements that really resonate for me. He said that the workers are the treasure of the factory. He discovered that at that point. And he also said that he was not more talented than anybody else. He just tried harder, and he did more research. And he also said that if you can't do something, it's because you didn't try hard enough. So never give up. And I think that was a message. That's a culture that he created back before cars. And he also introduced the idea of Jidoka. Jidoka is how you build the quality, even with the automatic loom. So if one thread breaks, then everything you do from that point is garbage. You have to undo it. So he built up a Jidoka so that when the thread would break, it would stop the machine. What a concept, right? And that became one of the pillars of Toyota production system. He also brought the idea of 5 whys. Always ask 5 whys. Get down to the root cause. Find out what's the problem. And that also became another pillar of what Toyota stands for. So I think he put the company in good hands. But he was born in 1867 and he died in 1930, even before the car came to the market. So in 2001, the former president of Kentucky became the president of the company in Japan. And he says, we need to really educate and make sure that we explain to the world what is Toyota Way. And Jeffrey Liker did a good job in his book, in his 14 principles. But internally, we retrain all 300,000 employees. And that was not a small training. That was an all-day training about what Toyota Way is all about. Because if you're serious about the culture, you have to educate. You have to be able to explain how that works. And then that was done in 2001. All employees came off the floor. We gave them Toyota Way education. The second one is everybody had different ways of training. So the mother plants would train us one way. That was slightly different. So we'd go to Kentucky and say, why are you guys doing that? Oh, well, because our mother plant is telling us. Then we said, well, how do we make sure that all the plants perform to the same level? Then we developed the global evaluation matrix. And we called it Plant Management Review. And that's a very detailed analysis of the plants. So you can do it yourself.